What up YouTube? How are we feeling today? Hope you're doing great, hope you're doing fantastic. Back with another Division 2 video and back with another build, and this is just straight up a banger. This is one of the most slept on ARs, and you can hit enemies up to that 100 meters and still do damage. Yes, I'm talking about an AR build that can still do damage further than 60, 70, 80 meters. What normal ARs will just go flat and do not give you enough damage to take somebody out. This is so much fun to play with, especially with the combination with the pistol as well. Man, this is a lot of fun, and this is not your typical straight up DPS build. Of course, we're going for a full DPS build. We are a little bit squishy, but you can just do so much damage. And there is still a bit of survivability, using some skills and just shredding through everything. This is a lot of fun. One of my friends, Matt, asked me to play with this gun, make a build around it, like almost every build that I make. We're talking about it live on Twitch, in my chat, talking about the build, making the build together, and just making a community build. Most of my builds are made that way, so definitely hit me up with a follow on Twitch and jump into chat to brainstorm for the next few builds, as TU16 is very close of airing. But enough intro. As usual, I will show you some gameplay of a control point, I will show you some gameplay of a mission, and then we're gonna dive straight into the build. If you've seen enough gameplay, you can definitely just skip over. There are chapters in the video itself and in the comments down below. I have, of course, the timestamps. But again, enough intro. Let's dive right into that gameplay.
Reinforcements incoming. Detecting additional hostile contacts.
bitch hiding from us was at.
And as always, we're starting with our specialization. We are using the technician specialization. Why? Because we're getting an extra skill tier that helps out with, of course, our skills. We're doing a 12% extra damage to drones, skill proxies, and robotics. So this is a very good build to fight the Black Tusk. And then next to that, you are healing your friendly skill proxies within 10 meters as well. And then next to that, as you saw, we're using the linked laser pointer because we have spotter on our chest. Proccing this is just the easiest way to go for the linked laser pointer. Don't forget, you need to stack into rifle damage to unlock this linked laser pointer. Then next to that, because we're running around with an AR and of course a rifle as our secondary, and then with a pistol, don't forget to stack in these as well. But let's jump over to the skills. And for our first skill, we are using the Reviver Hive. Why? Because we're running around with a full red build. You're kind of squishy and this gives you, of course, that extra life. I went for 10% Reviver, Armor Repair, and then chose for the 2 mods that you will get with the Technician Specialization. 10% extra range and 10% extra duration. And next to that, for our second skill, we're using the chem launcher. I have 9.8% in share duration and 1 extra ammo on this. Why? Because we are using the Riot Foam chem launcher to trap some enemies, easily take them down if they're coming from their spawn, or of course in countdown, if a door opens next to you, you can just easily, quickly fire that chem launcher. They are all trapped. They are looking at their legs and they won't aggro you. Or of course, get your pistol out. When they're all grouped together, do a headshot and you will blow them to kingdom come. This is a lot of fun and very useful on this build. But let's jump over to the guns that we're using. And for the first gun, just like I said in the intro, this is one of the most slept on ARs in the game. And this is the ACRE. So go for the ACRE instead of the ACR. I will show you a comparison what the difference is between these two guns. But definitely go for the ACRE. And this has all maxed out, so 10% damage to target out of cover as the attribute, and then of course every single assault rifle comes with the core attributes, assault rifle damage and health damage. I just have it on proficiency level 0. All the damage numbers can only get higher whenever you go for your expertise level. This has a 127.5k total damage. This is high up there because this only has 650 RPM with a mag of 50. And then the biggest thing of this ACR, guys, look at that accuracy, look at that stability, and most importantly, look at that damage drop off. This is such a great gun just to shoot on range, and that's why I went for the Ranger talent, amplifying our weapon damage by 2% for every 5 meters you are away from your target. So you're getting an amplified damage, so this is quite a lot, guys. And then with the damage drop off, you can still do damage up to that 100 meters. So for example, let's go over to the Kingbreaker, for example. Kingbreaker, as you can see, it does a lot more damage. It has the same RPM, but look at that damage drop off. You will not do damage, let's say around 55 to 60 meters, it just goes flat. Where the ACRE still does a decent amount of damage. And then, as I promised, let's go over to the normal ACR. Look at that accuracy. Look at that stability. Of course, the normal ACR has a little bit quicker reload time of 0.2 seconds. But look at that accuracy and that stability difference. Especially that accuracy. This is so freaking great. And this is how you can just straight up beam enemies from far away. And this is one of the best long range ARs to play with. So jumping over to my secondary, and we're using the M1A. Why the M1A? Because I needed to stack into rifle damage. The M1A is very powerful, especially this one, because I have it on expertise level 16. So I'm getting an extra 16% extra weapon damage. Again, I have damage to target out of cover on there. Core attributes are always rifle damage and critical hit damage, and then I went for flatline. And why flatline? Because we are of course using the pulse and then in combination with spotter. So if you pulse it with your ACRE, with that linked laser pointer, they are pulsed for a few seconds, then you can just switch over to your M1A and just beam them down. It's so easy, and you can hit up to 3.5 million with this M1A and almost up to that 1 million without any boosts with the ACRE on the head. So this is why we're using the classic M1A and the ACRE. And next to that, we are using the Regulus. I started using the Regulus to get it proficient, but this is so much fun to play with. Like you seen in the intro, like in the gameplay, if you shoot a headshot, there is a big explosion, a big cloud that takes out everybody that's standing around that ad. And that's why we're using the riot foam as well. Making sure that the whole group stays together, just aggro the weakest link, shoot him in the head, and boom, everybody is gone. This of course comes with pistol damage and headshot damage, and the talent reads: headshot kills create a 5-meter explosion, dealing 400% weapon damage and applying bleed to all the enemies you hit. And this is so much fun, especially the combination of the build itself. So jumping over to the build. For our first piece, for our chest, we are using the Seska. Why the Seska? Because we're always trying to get to that 50 to 55% critical hit chance before stacking into something else. And Seska gives you that 10% critical hit chance. Fully god rolled, fully maxed out weapon damage, critical hit chance, and a critical hit damage mod. And like I explained, we went for spotter that amplifies the total weapon and skill damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. Then jumping over to my backpack. And we went for Fenris. Why Fenris? Because this gives us an extra 10% assault rifle damage. Again, maxed out. 15% weapon damage, 6% critical hit chance, 12% critical hit damage, and a 12% critical hit damage mod on there. And we went for Vigilance. This is just the best talent to go for if you want to do as much damage as possible. Vigilance, of course, like all we know, increases the weapon damage by 25%, but if you take a hit, the damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. So make sure that you don't get hit. You can also go for glass cannon on the chest, but I went for a little bit more security, a little bit more survivability, and that's why I went for spotter. Jumping over to the rest of my gear, starting with the mask, and this is a Gruppo mask. Why the Gruppo mask? Because the Gruppo of course gives us that 15% critical hit damage, again maxed out, 15% weapon damage, 12% critical hit damage, 6% critical hit chance, and a 12% critical hit damage mod on there. Jumping over to my gloves and my knee pads, and you already guessed it, these are the best in slot. With the contractor's gloves giving us that extra 8% damage to target out of cover, this is multiplicative damage. Again, fully god rolled, 15% weapon damage, and I went for critical hit damage. And then the second piece are of course the Fox's Sprayer. Again, a multiplicative damage on there of 8% damage to target out of cover, 15% weapon damage, and 12% critical hit damage. And then the last piece, guys, and this is my holster, and this is why the Regulus does so much damage, and you can just blow everybody to Kingdom Come. I was in a countdown yesterday. Yes, we had some boost, but I hit a shot up to 200 million. Taking out 5 enemies at the same time. It was a freaking blast. But that holster is, of course, the Dodge City Gunslinger holster. This only comes with weapon handling and headshot damage. I would love to see some extra critical hit chance or critical hit damage so we can up that extra damage, but still this does so much for you. Again, weapon damage and the talent quick draw. While your pistol is holstered, gain a stacking buff every 0.3 seconds up to 100. When you swap to it, your first shot consumes the buff and deals 10% damage per stack, and this deals a headshot damage to anywhere you hit it. But if you do a headshot with, of course, the Regulus, it will explode. It will give you that extra 400% weapon damage. If you stack it up with that quick draw, getting an extra weapon damage out there, you will take out almost everybody. Of course, you need to shoot a headshot. Sometimes you miss, but if you practice it a little bit with it, it is so much fun, especially if we are on long ranges with our ACR or with our M1A. If people come close, just switch over to your handgun, do a headshot, and everybody in that 5-meter radius will be blown to pieces. It is a lot of fun. And just a different setup than you used to, right? So this is the overview. We are using the technician specialization for that linked laser pointer and that extra skill tier. Went for the ACRE for our primary weapon with Ranger on then. Secondary is the M1A with flatline. We chose for the Regulus. When people come close, shoot them in the head and you blow everybody up. Went for a backpack of Fenris with Vigilance. 2 best in slot pieces for that extra multiplicative damage. Seska with Spotter for the extra critical hit chance and that instant damage output. Again, you can go for Glass Cannon or for example for Obliterate, but I like to have my damage instantaneously. So go for Spotter or of course go for Glass Cannon, and then Gruppo for that extra critical hit damage. And then of course going for the Dodge City Gunslinger holster to get that extra power for our Regulus. But yeah guys, this is the overview of the whole build. Let me know in the comments down below if you made this build already. Are you playing with this build? And what do you think about this Regulus, man? This is so much fun. I know this is an exotic that is locked behind the Iron Horse raid, but if you have it, definitely check out this build and try it out. And hit me up in the comments down below how you're liking it. So jumping over to the stats, we have 48% critical hit chance. This is one of the only builds that I have that is underneath that 50 to 55% critical hit chance. With this build, 48% still gives you a lot, but you could go for a little bit extra critical hit chance, but because we went for our holster, we didn't get some extra critical hit chance or critical hit damage, so I thought, you know what, let's leave it at that 48%. We have 156% critical hit damage and 85% headshot damage. Of course, this goes up if we go over to our pistol. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. We don't have arm regeneration, we don't have extra skill boosts or skills that do damage, so this is the only stats I can show you. But again guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think about this build. Man, I'm having a blast, especially on countdown. If they come down from the chopper, just foam them down, just shoot one in the head and everybody disappears. Just like you saw with that control point and of course that mission that I showed you. Again, let me know in the comments down below, but that's it. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribers button. And of course the notification bell. PurePrime out.